So in this video, I'll be explaining about the data types available in structured query language, some of the retrieval queries in structured query language, such as select statement and then nesting of queries, use of aliases, and then use of where clause in structured query language, and the DML commands such as insert statement, delete statement, and update statement will be discussed in this particular video. So the data types that are available in SQL includes the numeric data types. It may be a character data types, bit string, boolean. Boolean can take two values, either true or false. Date data type and time data type. So in numeric data type, we may have integer or int, small int, floating point for real numbers, float or real, double, precision. So the formatted numbers can be represented using decimal I comma j, where I gives the precision and j is the scale. Decimal of 10 comma 5. That means precision is 10, scale is 5. After decimal points, 5 digits are allowed. So numbering of digits after the decimal point. J is nothing but the scale, which is the numbering of digits after the decimal point. The default for scale is 0 and the default for precision is it is implementation defined. So another data type is char data type. We use char n or varchar n. Char n will be used for fixed length characters, and for varying length characters we use varchar n, and also we have varchar 2 of n in SQL2, where n is the maximum number of characters. So we have other data type called as CLOB in SQL's character large object. It is used for specifying large text values. If you want to store any large text values such as documents, we use CLOB data type. The maximum length for CLOB is 20 megabytes. So length can be specified in terms of kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes. And we have bit string data type, bit of n or bit varying n. If you want to store fixed number of bits, we go for bit n. If you want to store varying length bits, we go for bit varying n. So this is the data that will be that can be stored in databases. So for this database, we can use bit data type. So it will be stored in with codes. And if you want to store large binary objects, large binary objects, we go for blob data type. So if you want to store images, we use blob. Blob stands for binary large objects. So in total, we have int or integer, decimal, I comma j, char, varchar, bit string, bit varying, so clock on blob. Additional data types that include in SQL are date. Suppose if I want to represent the date in terms of 2002 hyphen 01 hyphen 02, so YYYMMDD. So I use date data type. And if you want to store the time information, we can use time data type. So time will be stored in the form of hour, minute, and second. Timestamp, it includes both time and date components. We do have one more data type called as interval. Suppose if you are adding two dates or if you are subtracting 2 days, we can use interval. It specifies the relative value rather than any absolute values. And this interval value can be positive or negative when added to or subtracted from an absolute value. So that's about the data types in SQL. So retrieval queries, the retrieval statement is select statement. So it is of the form select from, where we have three clauses where select is the first clause. This is the order in SQL. First we have to use select and then from, where after select we have attribute list, the number of attributes that we have to select from the table, from which table we have to retrieve the data, what is the filter condition that will be applied on the data. It's a conditional expression, Boolean expression that identifies the tuples to be retrieved by the query. We have some examples for this. This is the company database we are going to use for retrieving the data or for inserting a data, for updating the data, deleting the data. Suppose if I say, right, select from employee, select or otherwise select SSN, comma, salary from employee, where department number is equal to 5. That means this record, this record, this record, total 4 records. That is 8, 9, and then sorry 8955 and then 4453 along with the salaries will be selected. So attributes that I have selected here is SSN and salary, and the filter condition that is given here is department number 5. So we have some example queries here. Select the birth date, address. These are the attributes. This is the query to retrieve the birth date and address of the employee whose name is John Smith. These are the attributes. This is the table name. This is the table name. These are the attributes. Okay, and this is the filter condition. Filter condition is employee name is John Smith. First name is John, last name is Smith. So similar to select and project operation that we have used in relational algebra, select specifies the projection attributes. The projection attributes are birth date and address. And the where class specifies the selection condition. Select operation is this one. It specifies the selection condition. This is the selection condition. And the project attributes are birth date and address. However, since the SQL won't treat this as a set, the table as a set, we may have duplicate values here. One more example we can take up here. So if I want to retrieve the projects that are available in project location that are located in Houston, so I can write a query, select star, instead of selling it as select project name, project number, project location, comma, department number from project, where project location is equal to within quotes Houston we have to give. We have one more example query here. Retrieve the name and address of employees who work for the research department. Select the name and address from employee and department. Here we are joining two tables, employee and department. The reason is that because the employee name is available in employee table and department is available in department table. I need to join based on the join attribute department number. So this 5 and 5 will be joined. So in research department, I just need to retrieve the name and address who all will work. John Smith works in research department, Franklin works in research department, and then other employees, Joyce work for English, Joyce work for research department, and Ramesh works for research department. So the name of the department is available in department table. So that's why I'm joining employee and department. Employee and department based on the join attribute department number is equal to department number. And the filter condition that is given here is research. This is the selection condition. This is the join condition. So we have one more query here, retrieval queries. If I want to retrieve the project information, project located in Stafford, we have to retrieve the project information and which department controls the project and the department manager's names. You can see here the controlling department is available in department table and the department manager name is available in employee table and the project information is available in project table. So we have to join these three attributes. From employee, I'm joining employee and department with employee where department number is equal to D number. Employee department number is equal to department number and department MGRSSN is equal to employee MGRSSN. And the filter condition that we have to give it in project location, give it in project table is project location is equal to Stafford. I have to join this table and the project table. So first join this department number with this department number and then this MGR SSN with SSN to retrieve the manager data. So now Stafford 4 will be selected, administration department. Who is the manager for 4? 4321. 4321 is Jennifer. So I will get the manager name here, Jennifer. So it belongs to the administration department, and the project name is new benefits. Project name, controlling department, administration department, and the manager name. So that's about retrieval queries in SQL. Use of aliases. I can give name for employees. Alias is nothing but giving an alternate name for employees. Right now I'm fetching employee name and F name and the supervisor last name from employee. So first time I'm giving the name as E and the second time I'm giving the name as S, and I'm matching and I'm joining the same table with super SSN and SSN. With this I can retrieve the name of employees and the manager name for employees. So if I want, I can rename this table as employee, and here I can qualify the attribute with emp.ssn. So that's about aliases in structured query language. And distinct keyword. So distinct will be used if I want to select salary from employee, we may get duplicate values for salaries. So if I write select distinct salary from employee, the duplicate values will be eliminated. Unspecified where class. So if I don't give any filter condition, all the SSN will be selected. A missing where class indicates no condition. Hence, all tuples of the relation in the from clause will be selected. To retrieve the SSN values of all employees, I can execute this query. If more than one relation is specified in the from class and there is no join condition, then it will be a Cartesian product. So use of star. Star means selecting all the attributes. So here I'm not specifying any of the attributes here. So I'm using while called star to retrieve all the attribute values of the selected tuples. Star is used, which stands for all attributes. Select all the attributes from employee where department number 5. Now this query is going to select first row, second row, third row, fourth row. With all the attribute values will be selected. Use of star. And we have one more, select star from employee comma department. Here we are joining two department and the filter condition is research department, and department number is equal to employee dot department number. Use of distinct, as I already told, to eliminate the duplicate tuples in the structured query language result, we use the distinct keyword. See, in the case of first query, we get duplicate values. In the case of second queries, duplicate will be avoided. So we can refer the tables here. The salaries are these things. So if I execute the first query, this is the result set. If I execute the second query, this duplicate will be eliminated. And again, this duplicate will be eliminated. And then 25,000 is appearing more than one time, right? Yeah, 55, 40, 30, 30,000, 40,000, 25,000, 38,000, 58,000. So any duplicate records are there, that will be eliminated if I use distinct keyword. If I select distinct department number, 541 will be selected from employee. Select distinct department number from employee, 541 will be selected. That is the use of distinct keyword. Select distinct salary from employee. So nesting of query. So we can have nested query inside the query. A complete select query called as nested queries can be specified within where class of another query called as outer query. Now in this case, the outer query is this one. This is outer query. Inner query is this one. This is inner query. This is something similar to select F name, L name, address from employee where department number is equal to 5, where the research department number is 5. So instead of specifying it as department number is equal to 5, I'm selecting the department number. Select department number from department where department name is equal to research. Now 5 will be selected. So where department number in 5, all the employees who works for department number 5 will be selected. Retrieve the name and address of all employees who work for research department. So this is inner query. First inner query will be executed first, and then the outer query will be executed later. So the previous query was written like this. I take you to the previous query. Yeah, here see. Select employee name, L name, address from employee, comma department where DV name is equal to research. Here I am joining, there I am not joining. I am using the nested query to get the department name. The nested queries select number of research department. The outer query select employee tuple if it is department number value in the result of either nested query. So here we are using comparison operator n, or also we can use equals, or also we can use any operator, in, any, all, and equals operators. In compares the value v with set of values v and evaluates to true if v is one of the elements in v. That means if the value matches, then only it selects the records. In general, we can have several levels of nested queries. 1 level, 2 level, 3rd level nested queries we may have. A reference to the unqualified attributes refers to the relation declared in innermost nested query. So let us try to write one more nested query using the tables. So if I want to retrieve all the projects that belongs to the headquarters department, I can write select p name from the table from project where project number in, put a parenthesis, and then you will write your nested query here. What is the nested query? Select department number from department where department name is equal to headquarters. Sorry, where dnum, here it is dnum, not project number. Where dnum in 1 I need to write. So what is the name of the department number 1? That is headquarters. Select department number from department where d name is equal to headquarters. Like this we may write many nested queries. That's about nested queries. Next command is insert command. For what purpose we use insert command? If I want to insert a data into the table that is already created, we use insert command. It is used to add one or more tuples or records into a table. And the insert command should have to satisfy the integrity constraint. The primary constraint needs to be satisfied. That means null values are not allowed, and duplicate values should not be allowed. And if we have a not null constraint, that also needs to be satisfied. If you have any check constraints, that also needs to be satisfied. So we have some examples here. So insert into employee values. So according to the attribute only, we have to give the values. This is first name, middle initial, last name, SSN, date of birth, address, gender, salary, and this is supervisor social security number. He works for department number 4. So if this order is missing, then it will throw an error. So mismatch of data types, mismatch of attribute values happens and it will throw an error. An alternate form is insert into employees. If you want to avoid that confusion, insert into employee, just specify the attribute names, F name, L name, and then followed by SSN. Values, F name is Richard, L name is this one, and SSN is this thing. So we have two forms for inserting a data into the tables. Next command is delete command. It is going to remove the tuples or records from the table, removes the tuples from relation. So delete, so it can be used with where clause, or where clause is an optional, includes a where clause to select the tuples to be deleted. If I want to delete the entire table records, I can just write delete star from table. It's a delete from table. So if I want to delete only few records, delete from employee where SSN in 1, 2, 3, comma 4, 5, 6. And also while deleting, we have to be very careful that whether that particular attribute that we are deleting is referenced by any other tuple in any other relation. Tuples are deleted from only one table at a time unless cascade is specified on a referential integrity constraint. So if I am trying to delete department number in department table, we have to specify the cascade option. That means in employee table also that record needs to be deleted. For example, on delete sentinel and on delete cascade. See, if I'm deleting 5, automatically these values, the referred values in employee table should be set to null, or the entire data related to the department number 5 needs to be deleted. On delete sentinel means this particular value, foreign key value will be set to null. On update cascade or on delete cascade means the entire record got deleted. So now if I delete this particular record research, so this one needs to be updated to null, this particular record needs to be updated to null, this one needs to be updated to null, or else the entire record needs to be deleted. So the records that corresponds to the department number 5 attribute needs to be deleted. The number of tuples deleted depends on the number of tuples in the relation that satisfy the where clause. How many tuples that will be deleted depends on the where condition. A referential integrity should be enforced. That we have discussed. These are some of the example. Delete from employee where last name is Brown. So wherever employee name is Brown is there, that particular record will be deleted. Delete from employee where SSN is this one. So we are also using the nested query here for deleting the employee. So overall works for research department, that is 5. Delete from employee where department number is equal to 5. Instead of writing that, I'm just writing the department name using the nested query. So this particular query deletes all the records from employee table. Delete from employee. Unspecified where clause is there. So it is going to delete all the records from employee table. So the last command in this particular topic is update command. So it is used to update the relation or a table. If I want to update employee name, or if I want to update the employee salary for a particular employee, that is also possible. For all the employees, if I want to update the salary, that is also possible. So if we won't specify where clause, that means the update will be happening for all the records. If we specify where clause, then the update will be happening for only the condition that is specified in the where clause. The set clause specifies the attributes to be modified and their new values. So referential integrity constant is also enforced here. You can see here, we are trying to update the salary of employees by 10% for the research department employees. That is, whoever works in research department, their salary will be updated to 10. So salaries have increased to 10%. So if I leave out this where condition, all the salary will be updated to 10%. Let's go to the tables. Let's say if I want to update for only this James, so I'll write update salary. Okay. Sorry, update employee set salary is equal to 55, the salary into 1.1, where name is equal to F name is equal to James. F name is equal to James, or last name is equal to Bob. So now 55 will be updated, 5% will be increased. Okay, 5,500 will be added here. So if I want to update the department name, is it possible? Yes, it is not a foreign key. Sorry, it's not a primary key and it's not a foreign key. Update department table, set D name is equal to RES, that's it, where department number is equal to 5. Instead of research, I'm just writing it as RES, that's it. So record will get updated. If I want to update salaries of all employees, update employees set salary is equal to salary into 1.1. So I'm not going to give any where condition here. So all the salaries will be increased to 10%. So without any where condition. That's it for today's session. So this completes module 2.